I feel like shit.
Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days.
It's just one of those
happy days. The weekend comes, let's not go home.
It's just one of those days where you don't want to wake up. Everything is everybody sucks. You don't really know why, but you want to justify ripping someone's head off. No human contact, and if you interact, your life is on contract. Your best bet is
Just knock it off, you scumbucket.
it's just one of those days. It's just one of
Monday,
those.
happy days.
It's just one of
Tuesday,
those.
happy days.
It's just one of those
Happy days.
days.
The weekend comes, let's not go home. Ready to extend.
It's just one of those days, feeling like a freight train. First one to complain, leaves with the bloodstain. Damn right, I'm a maniac. You better you, cause I'm fucking up your program. And you go stuck up, you just locked up. Next in line to get fucked up. Your best bet is to stay away, motherfucker. It's just,
I'm losing my cool.
it's all
Monday,
about,
happy days.
it's just one of
Tuesday,
those,
happy days.
it's just one of those
Happy days.
days.
The weekend comes, let's not go home. Ready to extend. These days,
I feel like shit. My suggestion is keep the distance. Right now I'm dangerous. Right now I'm dangerous.
Something's happening to the bonds.
My day keeps going this way and this way.
I'm gonna pop you one so you'll stop playing games.
Give me something great. Give me something great. I hope you know I pack a chainsaw. A chainsaw. A motherfucking chainsaw.
What?
So come and get it.
What we got here is a case of mistaken identity, you know? See, now this here,
Not Robert.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chief Moody, and welcome to episode 32 of the Mood of the Nation podcast. 32 episodes already. I actually cannot believe that. I just came to realize that with last episode's episode 31. I cannot believe we're on the 30 episode mark. It's crazy to think that. Hope everyone's doing well this fine Sunday evening. And I hope you all had a great weekend also, despite the fact it's not entirely the end of Sunday anyway, but that's beside the point. How is everyone doing tonight? How is everyone doing? Let me see. I do see there was a lot of familiar faces in the chat already just now. Of course, we've got Daniel Archer. Congrats, Tyson Fury, deserved champ. I'll definitely get into that in just a short second because that's a pretty good victory with that, of course. Budgie Burger, hello, how you doing? Bonnie Lad, The Three Amigos, Scott Summer, Rob D, Steve Cray, Gamma Sandwich, What Tyler, Jojo, Gizmo, Amanda, good evening. Well, good evening to those people as well. I are here again. Gamma Sandwich, how you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show as per usual. We also have Corona, Rona, Ona, Na. How you doing, Corona? How you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show. Another day closer to social collapse. Yeah, I can't wait for that as well. I cannot wait for that. Of course, I've got my popcorn ready. Yeah, I don't have any popcorn at the moment, but I'm certainly ready when that time comes. So we'll definitely see from there. What Tyler 1381, evening to you too. Streaky Beacon, in time for the cool intro. You sure were. Thank you very much for watching the intro there. I would say officially to call it the Mood of the Nation theme song, or if you want to call it that. So we have Sansom Communum in the chat. Hello, everybody, peeps. Hello, Sansom. Thank you very much for sharing the stream. And also Mark Collett for sharing the stream as well. And also everyone, I'm pretty sure people, as everyone else, have also shared the stream. But another thing too is I also noticed as well on my Telegram, tonight will be the I can never say this word, Patriotic Alternative Film Club review tonight at 7 p.m. And tonight's film review by Mark, Laura, Horace, and Nativist Concern with special guest Hyrith. I hope I pronounced that right. Excuse me if I don't pronounce it right. But tonight's film they will be reviewing tonight will be none other than John Carpenter's The Thing, which is a horror classic within the genre. I'm sure I've seen that film before, like multiple times. As a matter of fact, I might need to watch that at some point again, because I also came to realize that this month is October, of course, being the month of Halloween, which is I would say it's one of my favorite seasons ever because Halloween's a pretty cool. Well, I don't know if you want to call it celebration, but somewhat of a holiday or a celebration, if you want to call it that. So it's also the perfect time of the month throughout the year that you can watch all of your favorite horror films. So if I have the time, maybe I'll sit down and watch some horrors later on, and maybe we'll see from there. And maybe I was actually thinking as well, if you guys want, maybe to try and do something different when it comes to the show, and maybe even to talk about some certain topics when it comes to this month. I could maybe talk about some horror films I came across throughout this month, like throughout the show and whatnot. So what I mean is, like, maybe not tonight, but maybe on the next episode or that next episode after that, and so on and so forth, up until the 31st of October. If you guys want, I can maybe talk about a certain film I've been watching this month, like, horror film related, obviously because it's Halloween and that. So if that's something you'd be interested in to see, just let me know, and then we'll see from there. So, and even of course, leave the comment with that, and then of course, I'll definitely see with that. So let me have a look. Of course, people in the chat are saying that The Thing is a great film. The Thing is amazing. Making those genre films without full CGI was talent. Exactly. You could say that a film like The Thing or John Carpenter's The Thing, whatever you want to call it, it's a perfect case example of how practical effects definitely outweigh CGI or like actual special effects. What we're seeing today with that, of course. English Rose, how you doing? Scary film. I shall be peeking over my pillow. I can't. Well, I don't think it'll be that scary, but we'll see from there. So, Steve Shaw, how you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show. Hey, Chief, did you put the feelers out to Tony Martin on the NF and ask him to come on the show? I have not. No, I never had the chance to. But what I'll do is I'll see if I can get my notebook, and I'll see if I can write that down. Again, that's like a reminder sort of thing, and then I'll get back to that in this case. If I could find a pen real quick, I should be able to find one here. Where the hell is it? As per usual, I'm not exactly too professional on this show, but I do try. I do try my best. So while I'm looking for that, let me have a look and see what else has been said. Can we do it when it's not dark at Chief Midi? Well, if you want, we can definitely see from there. What is scarier is the thing. Well, you can make an argument, because I know that when it comes to the films of horror or even the horror genre, it's very subjective of what would be counted as scary or what's not scary. Some people will say films like Jaws is a scary film, even though it's some people will say that film is quite dated by today's standards. And of course, after Jaws, there's been so many shark films that came out after it, but a lot of people will say that film's pretty scary even to this very day. A lot of films, people will say The Exorcist is a scary film. In fact, it's probably up there as one of my favorite films of all time because it's just such a well-made film. This was made by a director by the name of William Friedkin. He's a Jewish man, I know, but he's made pretty good films in the past, like The Exorcist. He's also made the film The French Connection, which came out before The Exorcist, I believe. The French Connection was 1971, whereas The Exorcist came out in 1973, if I remember correctly. The jogger was scary. Dear, yeah. So let me see. Great film, of course, when it comes to the Thing. So definitely check that out. That's at 7 p.m. When the time comes around, after the show comes to an end, of course, I'll put the link in the chat for you all to hop on over to that stream, the PA Film Club, and then see from there. Let me have a look and see. Good evening, Chief and Moodlings. Thank you, Exile Viking. How you doing? Moodlings, of course, for Streaky Bacon. 33 will be the Masonic stream. Oh, no. Well, it's funny to see that there's 28 people watching the show already, which is still a pretty good number. So hopefully more people will tune into the show by the time it goes along. But we'll see. We'll definitely see. And don't forget, troops, we need to get the unvaccinated vaccinated to protect the vaccinated against the virus that they've been vaccinated against. I know it's very, very odd way of seeing that regarding to those people. So Let me see here. I think that's all up to date with the chat. Tricky who? Hello, how you doing? Hey, Chief Moody chat. Well, hey to you, Tricky. Thank you very much for watching the show. Let me see here. And Rigor Mortis, how you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show also. Perfect. Let me see here. Of course, we got Kitchen Skillet. How you doing? Thank you for watching the show as always. Some small hats are okay. Jesus was a top lad. I can agree. I saw the first Jaws when it came out in 75 to 76. It was scary. Yeah, I would imagine at that time it was pretty scary for a lot of people. I remember, although that wasn't the shark film that freaked me out as a kid, but there was another film that came out in 1979 or 78, I think it was. And I'm pretty sure everyone here in the chat may have seen this film. If not, you have heard of it. Or you may have even seen the UK poster for the film. And that film is called Deep Blue Sea. It's a film that had Thomas Jane, who later on would play the Punisher in the 2004 film of the same name. He was in quite a lot of films, but that was a film he was in that I remember him being in. It also had people like Samuel L. Jackson in the film. Who else was in the film? There was a female lead actress in the film who's supposedly was quite big at that time, but she was also criticized for being very bland or not really like the greatest actress ever known. I think she was a British actress from what I remember. But I remember when that film came out at the time, the poster alone, the UK poster really freaked me out. I'm just like, oh, that was just really scary at that. And then I watched Jaws later on in life, and the scene in the film that really freaked me out, and I stopped watching Jaws. And I'm sure it's a scene everyone knows what I'm on about, especially those who have seen it. It's the opening act where you have the woman who goes to the sea, to the water, and she gets eaten by. Well, we're supposed to believe that she's not eaten by the shark, but it's obviously, if you've seen the film multiple times, that's exactly what happens to her. And just the way like she screams, like the way she like throws about in the water, and not even seeing what's actually dragging her around in that water, that scene really freaked me out as a kid. But no, it's a great film, that Jaws. I think even last year it was the film's 40th. No, was it the 35th anniversary or 45th anniversary? Anyway, I think this coming year of 2025 will be the film's 50th, I think, which is kind of crazy to think that it's that old of a film already, which is really crazy. That Jaws had a fantastic movie poster. It's a iconic movie poster, indeed it is. It's one of those movie posters you look at and you think, oh yeah, even without the title of the film, you can look at that and think, oh yeah, I know what that film is. Something along the lines of, say, the image of Vito Corleone, or who's the actor who I can't remember. I'm forgetting the actor's name, but the Godfather poster. You see that even without the title of the film, you're like, yeah, I know exactly what that is. Marlon Brando, that's the actor's name. That's who I was referring to. So let me have a look here and see. Sense of Camino. Chief Moody, the head coming out of the side of the boat. Watch it a million times and it will still make you jump. That's right. That was another pretty scary moment in the film regarding to Jaws. I think I came across that scene like a second time, because obviously the scene with the woman at the start of the film really freaked me out. But that scene, that was another one that really that was really scary. That, in fact, there's another scene in Jaws. This is going to be a short moment talking about the film Jaws. There was another scene in the film where it's at the beach. The beaches are open. People are flocking to the beach because it's during the summer holidays, or in America, summer vacation. And you have all the people, women, men, kids playing in the water and all of that. There's a scene, I think it's with Martin Brody's son goes out to the sea on the boat with his friends. And there was a guy on another boat was asking the kids, "Oh, are you kids okay?" or wherever it may be. They get not flung out of the boat, but something hits their boat, making them go out of it and get back into the water. The guy goes back to his boat, and you can kind of see, like in the water, like the shark's head, and then it just drags him back into the water. And then later on, there's a scene where you see the guy's leg like chopped off, and it's like kind of, it's not floating, but it lands on the bottom of the ocean. Oh man, that's a it's a great film nonetheless. Jaws is a fantastic film, even though people will say it's dated or the animatronic shark looks really fake or gay or whatever the case may be. But it's still a classic nonetheless, and there's a reason why people still remember it to this very day. Exile Viking. Roy Schneider was portrayed as a fearless shark hunter. He did a lot of facial expressions throughout the movie. There you go. Great. have privileges. Indeed they do. Indeed they do. Let me see. If Jesus was a small hack, he would have done stand up instead of, yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Jaws shark with several rubber props with glass eyes. Yeah. And apparently they had a lot of trouble making that film because the shark itself just would not work whatsoever. But there we go. Check out Greta Thunberg in Jaws. It's her head coming out of the water. It just comes out of the water. How dare you? Oh man. But no, that could be something I could do for future episodes, up until the 31st of October. I could maybe talk about some certain topics as usual, and then later on, I could maybe talk about a certain film, of course, horror film or horror genre related and all of that. So we'll definitely see from there. So, Gamma Sandwich again. The thing that scares people the most about sharks is the fact they can't be tamed and will just do what they do regardless of us. Exactly, yeah. Exactly that. They're the most untamable animals ever. So you can try and tame them all you want, but it can never work, really. So you can try it, but nah, there's no point. How dare you? Britain 2066. The book is different. The police chief dies. Only the Dreyfus character survives. I've noticed about the book. I've never read the book before. That was a book by Peter Dinklage, I think the author's name. But it was a book that came out prior to the film, I think in 1972 or 73. Quite a big success the book was. It was really popular. And then, of course, it was adapted into the film we all know and love today. But I do know that, again, I've not read the book whatsoever, but I do know that the book itself is quite different to the film. The book covers other things, like it deals with the mafia, it deals with the love affair between Martin Brody's wife and also the Dreyfus character, whose the character's name escapes me. Like you got Martin Brody, played by Roy Schneider. You have Robert Shaw's character Quint. Robert Shaw, I think he was quite a well-known actor at that time. He was also in a James Bond film, From Russia with Love. He played the opposite to Sean Connery's James Bond, I think. And then the Dreyfus character, Hooper, that was the character's name. Yeah, it was like a shark expert, if I'm not mistaken. But again, very great film nonetheless. Yeah, Matt Hooper, that was the character's name. Thank you, Sensum. Thank you. Funny enough, that actor also appeared in the film Piranha 3D, which came out like years ago, like a couple of years back, maybe like a decade ago. But it was one of those films that came out that was kind of promoting the 3D gimmick at the time. But he kind of played a similar character to that. So, but it's funny nonetheless with that. But anyway, my friend Harry Armless used to be a shark whisperer. All right, that's actually interesting. That I don't know if I would ever want to be in a cage, with sharks around. Like, that's quite a scary thought, but no. Exile Viking again. Thunberg is actually scarier than Jaws. I'd rather face Jaws than her coming out of the water. That's completely fair. Yeah. I mean, at least with the shark, it doesn't speak. So, I mean, I guess, you can give props to that one. So, that's fine with that. Excellent. They are amazing creatures. When it comes to sharks, I don't know if I would say they're amazing, but they're interesting nonetheless. But that's just me regarding to that. But anyway, that's the PA Film Club for tonight at 7 p.m. Please check that out. I'll put the links in the description. Well, not just in the description, but in the chat by the time the show comes to an end. Around about maybe 10 to or 5 to or something like that. But we'll see. Right then, so since I've talked about that, we've talked about future plans for the future episodes up until the 31st of this month. I was going to talk about some certain topics for this fine evening. Now, something that also came to my mind as of late, and what I've noticed on Sky, because I tend to watch stuff on Sky, with Sky Q-Box and all of that. If I'm available to watch TV and all of that, I've noticed looking through the home section. This month also is the big celebration for leftists, if you will, mainly because it's supposed to be not Black Lives Matter, Black History Month, which is quite. I've always thought that was something earlier in the year. I thought that was supposed to be in February or even in March. Or I don't know if maybe that's just an American thing, but there you go. This month also marks the Black History Month for Black people, of course, which is kind of like you think they would have that in another month. Like, why of all months they have it all happen in October? But I guess that's only for the UK with that. Yeah, even Corona in the chat is saying in the US is in February. Right, that makes sense. So it makes sense that it's in February in America, whereas here in the UK we decided to have it done on October, which is probably the worst month you can think of because, again, it's all to do with Halloween and whatnot. So just feels like it's always Black History Month. Yeah, I can see that because it just everyone talks about Black people. That's a Black history. That, yeah, it's it just keeps getting talked about on and on and on again. Car, hello, sir. How you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show. Really appreciate that. In Africa, it's all year round. Well, of course it would be that because it's Africa. They whinge about getting the shortest month. Haha, I know they whinge about everything, which I'll get into that just a short second with the Tyson Fury match. It's either Black History Month or LGBT Month. Yeah, it's either or. So it's like pick your poison, if you will. So, evening, Chief Booty in chat. Evening to you too, English Sailor. Thank you very much for watching the show. Let me see. That's all up to date. Yes, that's true, Gammon. Remember to like, folks. Definitely do that, folks. Remember to like the stream and also share it around on other platforms if you can. That would be much appreciated. Let me have a look here and see. The fear of deep water is scarier than sharks itself. You know what, Rigor Mortis? I tend to agree with that. I actually do agree with that because I think it's the idea of you don't know what exactly is underneath. Like, if you're in the water, you don't exactly know what's underneath yourself. Like, when I say underwater, I don't mean stuff like bathtub or anything like that, because obviously you can see what's under there. But I'm talking about like if you're in the ocean or if you're out of the sea, and then if you're looking down, you can hardly see anything. That's a really scary thought, especially if I remember seeing something like this regarding to discoveries in space compared to discoveries in the ocean. I think in the ocean we discovered, what was it, like 1.6%? Well, maybe not that low, but it's a very small number in terms of the discoveries out there in space. And that's a really scary thought, that even with that amount of percentage of discovered down in the ocean, we don't know exactly what's actually really down there, which is a really scary thought as well. So sorry, to answer your question, Rigor Mortis, yes, I do agree with you that the ocean or what's underneath the deep water is far more scarier than something like like a shark or anything like that. So Jesus wishes he was Marcus Rashford. If only Black was history. Well, there you go. Marcus Rashford becoming an honour doctor from Manchester Uni. Well, I'll have a look at that just a second. Let me see. Oh yeah, I'll have a quick drink of my water. One sec. What else? George Floyd costumes will be the costume of choice for progressive degenerates this Halloween. I wouldn't be surprised if that were to happen. Well, not only that, but if that actually were to happen, you can imagine some people would come out of the woodwork and say, "Oh, look at these white people dressing up like a black person. This is like what's the term they use? Like was it like not blackwashing, but it's blackface or something like that. Something ridiculous as that." English Sailor, the average ocean depth is about 1.5 miles. Well, there you go then. I think this is the name of the phobia here. Thalassophobia. I think that's how you pronounce that. Fear of deep, dark water. Well, there you go. That I think I remember watching a video about that. Someone talking about that phobia and why it's so very common for today with a lot of people. From Noel, I watched Keith Wood's latest film review of the latest Bond with spoilers, as he confirmed my woke suspicions of it beforehand. Yeah, I haven't seen the new Bond film. I think it's called No Time to Die, but I have heard that it's one of the wokest Bond films ever, to the point where there's no way how they can possibly make another one. But there you go. So that's all done and dusted with that. And to be honest, I'm not exactly like the biggest Bond fan in the world. So, in terms of the Daniel Craig films, I may have watched Casino Royale. I've seen Quantum of Solace. I've not seen Skyfall or Spectre, and of course, I've not seen No Time to Die. I think was it not another one, or was it just the five? You know, No Time to Die being the fifth Daniel Craig Bond film. But there you go. So, English Rose again. No White History Month in African countries, despite all we have done to help them. Yeah, exactly. We're supposed to be celebrating their history, but they can never celebrate our history because supposedly black people were all victims, for regardless of what the circumstance may be with that. So there you go. On Her Majesty's Secret Service. There. Beams Bond on the what A View to... Oh, God. Steve Shaw. Chief Rudy, are the cops coming for you, mate? I think that's the sound of the ambulance, because I noticed they've been coming along around my street a couple of times, but no, it's not. It's nothing to do with the police or anything like that at all, but no, but there you go. So let's see here. Bond's been going 20 years too long anyway. Yeah, I mean, I think the series started around about in 1962 with Dr. No. And I think it's a series that either needs to be put on a long hiatus, or just really just not bother with the character at all at this point. I mean, I know there's a lot of fans of the character. I mean, even now, there's still this whole big debate about who should play Bond after Daniel Craig, puts down... what's the turn of phrase they use? Puts down the shaken nuts, like I don't know what Bond drinks, like martini or something like that. But basically, like, puts down the mantle, and then someone's got to take over. A lot of people say like people like, or actors like Henry Cavill should take over the role. A lot of people would be. I think I remember like years ago there was talks about Mel Gibson playing the role of James Bond, which would be very interesting to say the least regarding to that. But I know there's quite a popular demand for Idris Elba to play James Bond, which of course, yes, another black actor playing a white character. Who never saw that coming? But anyway, so let's see. It should be updated to Dr. No Chance of an Appropriate Point COVID piss. Ah, dear. Yeah, I agree. Let's do the review with Nativist 2. All right, that'll be pretty cool. I wonder if I can maybe give that a watch at some point and then see from there. Let me see here. Really sad indictment of our era, how all the films coming out are sequels. Yeah, actual creativity is dead. It is pretty much dead. The only types of films we're seeing now are either sequels, especially sequels to like films that came out years ago, remakes or reboots, or I think what they're doing now is like it's like a soft reboot but more of a sequel, like the 2018 film Halloween, where the film Halloween, it's not a reboot, or well, it's somewhat of a reboot, but it's more of a sequel to the original 1978 John Carpenter film. Daniel Craig has been the longest character 15 years. Well, there you go for James Bond, so that's really cool. But I know that this is probably going to be his last performance as James Bond, because from what I've heard, what happens in No Time to Die, you can really wonder, well, how can they continue on with that character if this is what happens? But, anyway. Sorry. Another thing to mention, too, when it comes to cinema is either sequels, reboots, remakes, and all of that. Speaking of which, for you guys in the chat who are maybe film lovers, especially when it comes to musicals, how many of you have seen the film West Side Story? I know that's a film that's often regarded as a musical classic back in the day, back in the 60s. But what I've also seen recently that just came out, hold on one second, just want to check something in the chat here just real quick. No, that's fine. Okay. So yeah, I wonder if anyone in the chat may remember that film, West Side Story, because I remember seeing that a long while ago. Well, turns out recently with Cineworld, which is like a local cinema chain, well, quite a big cinema chain here in the UK, there was a trailer for a West Side Story remake, and it's directed by none other than Steven Spielberg, which would be very interesting considering that West Side Story is a film of, well, you can see it's like a musical equivalent to Romeo and Juliet in terms of like it's about street gangs like the Sharks and the Jets. One guy from the Sharks and a lassie from the Jets, I think, I think that the group of the Sharks are all white, if I'm not mistaken, whereas the Jets are all Hispanic members, if I remember correctly, of the film. But it kind of turns more into like a musical equivalent to Romeo and Juliet, from what I remember. I might be completely wrong on that, but I think that's what I remember when watching West Side Story. Well, it's kind of funny to see how it's going to be remade by Steven Spielberg, so that's going to be really interesting when that comes out. It's going to be very interesting. I actually can't believe that. I never really heard about that announcement before, but there you go. Never been into Bond films, car chase, explosions, parachute, machine gun, submarine. There you go. Yes, I tried to get into James Bond, but same, I just never really got into it. You see, but if I were to pick my personal favorite Bond, I would say Sean Connery is probably a good tier in terms of like being like the best Bond. But obviously, of course, I'm not saying that because the actor is Scottish, but that's beside the point. I'm not trying to be biased or anything like that at all. Remake of Darling Buds of May. It's a bit diverse. I've not heard of Darling Buds of May, but I'll see. I can see if I can give that a look. Kitchen Skill and see from there. So, and then I'll get back on that. So, let me see. Next up, Tom Hiddleston as John Shaft. Well, you know that will never happen, like a white actor playing a black character, because if that really were to happen, there would be a massive uproar with that. So, with characters like Shaft, or even say like a comic book equivalent like Black Panther, for instance, it has to be a black actor and nothing else because the character is black. But if you dare to cast a non-black member, especially if they're a white actor, there'd be a massive uproar with that. I thought there was something that came to my mind, but I kind of lost me there. I'm sure it might come back at some point. But anyway, let me see here just now. So in terms of like certain topics I was going to cover for tonight's show, and because this month being Black History Month, obviously I'm going to try and poke fun of that month, if you will, but by covering certain topics that kind of tie into that. Steve Shaw once again. Oops, sorry, wrong one. George Lazenby, was it okay to fight scenes on Her Majesty's Secret Service? Pretty convincing. Excellent. I've never actually seen that, but I think that's one of the George Lazenby, maybe the only George Lazenby James Bond film from what I remember. In fact, it was supposed to be played by Sean Connery, but at that point, from what I've seen from the behind the scenes stuff, he was just done with playing James Bond. He just completely was tired of playing the character at that point. And that's why George Lazenby took over the reins, and I think only did one Bond film, which of course would be on Her Majesty's Secret Service, from what I remember anyway. So from English Rose again, stage and theatre art is becoming more and more woke and diverse, even ballot. It's heartbreaking. It's funny you mentioned that, English Rose, because let me just go on to Odyssey real quick, and I found this earlier on while I was doing some research, just for tonight's episode, of course. And I think it was from Way of the World. Let me see if I can find that real quick and show you guys this video. Oh, there it is. Perfect on the front page. Now, it's only a minute long, so of course it's not like it's going to be too long or anything like that at all, but And I'm not too sure anyone in the chat, especially yourself, English Rose. I don't know if you came across this video, but this is from Way of the World on their Odyssey channel, and the video is called Ghetto Ballad. If you want to call it that. Let me just share the screen real quick and show you guys here for a moment. And let's see here. Back to the screen. Okay, there we go. So I want you all just to observe this, because I watched this for the full minute and I'm just thinking, what the hell am I watching? But I'll let you guys be the judge of this. So it's a minute long and then we'll get back onto topic. So here we go.
Next one, go. Over. Bring it.
Girl, you know I won't show up. Your love was handmade for somebody like me. Come now, follow my lead. I may be crazy, don't mind me. Say, boy, let's not talk too much. Back on my wrist and put that body on me. Come now, follow my lead.
5, 6, ready, go.
I'm in love with the shape of you. Push and pull like a magnet. Although my heart is falling too. I'm in love with your body. Last night you were in my room. Now I bet you smell like you. With these words, something brand new. I'm in love with your body. Oh, I know, I know, I know. I'm in love with your body. Oh, I know, I know, I know.
Sure, I won't get hit by copyright because of the music, but I think I'll be all right. Anyway, that's the video over. So cancel that and then come back onto here. I'll keep sharing the screen and then there we go. So there we are. Right. So hopefully, what do you all think of that? Gnome White, how you doing? All they do is destroy and replace. Exactly. Like that's the only thing that these people are capable of. They don't tend to create stuff their own, but they would rather create, or well, not create, but they would rather take something meaningful and something very artistic as ballet, but then want to completely bastardize it and make it their own. Which, yeah, we'll see. There you go. So I would nominate black-faced Trudeau to play Mandela, and he could eat the poo-poo. Oh, dear. Yeah, even Kerr did not like this. So video making me ill. English Rose, let me see. I'm seeing this incorporated with increasing frequency in ballet. It's an utter pollution, something pure and disgraceful. I know it's. Well, see, that's the thing, right? Like all the stuff we're seeing today that's supposed to be from our culture or our history and all of that, it's completely being bastardized. They're just taking something from ours, from white people, and just completely tear it down and just make it their own. And it's just it's shameful. It really is fucking shameful. Yeah, exactly. Kitchen Skillet. See beauty, rip it down, and reply. There we go. Yeah, even twerking is their version of ballet. Don't even get me started on twerking. I know people like Mark and Laura once talked about. I think they both talked about on the PA community stream, if I'm not mistaken. But it's always dreadful music. Yeah, I think that was Ed Sheeran's song, if I'm not mistaken. But hopefully, I won't get copyright struck or anything like that at all. Excuse me. So. When we win, we'll set up a community to fix all this cultural vandalism. We will definitely do that, Daniel. We'll definitely do that, sir. Let me see. A stunning and brave, unique form of ballet. I know, right? Ghetto ballet dancer is not cultural appropriation here. Well, see, that's the thing, Steve Shaw. It's fine. It's this whole old rule of rules for thee but not for thee. It's completely fine when they do it, when they take something of our own and use it for their benefit. But as soon as, even if, like, just for argument's sake, if we were to do it to them, then it's like, oh no, that's cultural appropriation. How dare you? The radio station that's always on in the gym mostly plays black shite music. Well, it's funny you mentioned that, Corona, because just a little bit of a story here for you guys. Yesterday, when I was at work doing overtime from 6 a.m. till 11 a.m., I was at work. We were just getting on with doing the stuff we were supposed to be doing. Not many people were there because obviously it was meant to be overtime and whatnot. We played the radio just for the sake of morale and just have a bit of music playing in the background while we were working. Well, I can't remember exactly the name of the radio station, but it was from Glasgow or west of Glasgow, if I remember correctly. It might have been Fourth One. I'm not entirely too sure the name of the radio station, but they said themselves that because of the fact that it's this month is Black History Month, they were celebrating that month by playing a lot of black music. So you have Kanye West playing in the background, Flo Rida. I think they played Nicki Minaj from what I can remember. So on and so forth. Outkast and all those peeps. So. Which, I mean, was no bother to me because I had my own Bluetooth earphones and just popped them in and just listened to my own music. So, I mean, there you go. So, let me just have a quick look and see here. Sorry about that, folks. I'll just have a look and see. BBC Radio 6 is doing that as well. Was it not Radio 1 was doing that as well? Because I remember Charlie talked about that on one PA Talk stream when he was on with Cyborg, Kenny, and also a guy by the name of Cyrus, I think, the black gentleman. Think of the takeaways, though. Just the horror of get rid of having voluntary repatriation for these people. But my takeaways, what about them is no. White birds twerking, embarrassing. Yeah, I know. It's just it's shameful that. Speaking of embarrassing when it comes to twerking, does anyone remember that video? I can't remember exactly where it was talked about. I think it was on Twitter or Telegram from what I can remember. Pretty sure people like Mark shared it, or maybe Laura, anyone from PA may have shared this. But it's a video of I think it's in Times Square or it's in New York. And it's a little 5-year-old or 6-year-old and out of the street twerking or something like that, and you have all these people around her just like cheering and applauding, this is great. You got the one black bitch who was there just kind of tapping her arm or something like that, and we're just kind of encouraging that type of degenerate behavior. And it's is this what we've become as a society, where it's we're teaching kids at that age that kind of horrible actions? Just unbelievable that. Let me see. English Rose again. Dance academies and even the RAD are falling victim to wokeness. Diversity and inclusion becoming more important than ability. Yes, exactly. That's very true, English Rose. As a matter of fact, it was something I covered on the show a couple episodes ago, or maybe a few weeks ago, in fact. Do you guys remember the story I talked about where it was this orchestra in England? And they have members there who are, of course, most of them were white. They've been there for many, many years, no complaints or anything like that at all. But then they were let go due to the fact that they want more inclusion of non-white members, if you will. I think I remember talking about that. But English Rose is very right in saying that it's more about the diversity and inclusivity rather than the ability to play the instruments or to do the dance or to act or anything like that at all. It's all about that crossing up that diversity quotas, that sort of thing. And it's pathetic. It really is pathetic because we know for a fact that why they're doing that. I mean, we're seeing all kinds of shows and films that are coming out now that got mostly black actors in the production and all of that. It's just so that they're giving out the message that, hey, we're not the native people of these lands, but we are becoming the native population. We're going to be slowly and surely replacing you, and you better accept that whether you like it or not. That is exactly why they're doing that. It's not because because we need to give more representation to this community. No, it's because they want to replace us. That's the core fundamental of it. And it's shameful. That is absolutely shameful. And I hope that people are waking up to it more than ever, because if we don't do anything about it, I've said this many, many times on the show before, but if we don't see or act anything about it, then it's going to be too late, unless we do something about it, of course. Exile Viking, real quick. Arse twerking is common and unattractive. It might turn on beta sims and joggers, the latter whom is attracted to. Well, there you go. So, Corona again. In South Africa, they twerk over the. Oh my god. I don't know if I've seen I think I've seen a meme of that where it's some guys carrying a coffin. They're walking and they're kind of moving to the beat of like some kind of not trance music, but I think it's some kind of like some form of music, if you will. But it's not like trance or anything like that at all. I know it's been used as a meme like back in maybe a year or two or something like that. But anyway, let me have a look and see what to do next with that. Hold on one sec. In the age of the Antichrist, anything goes. Exactly, Steve. Exactly that. We're living in a very dark time at the moment when it comes to all this kind of degeneracy. And it's absolutely shameful what's going on at the moment. Coffin dance, Loeb, yeah. I want twerkers over my... Oh, God. English sailor. It's nothing short of a complete spooker initiation of Western culture. Yeah, exactly. From turning culturally European ballet into some mulatto voodoo dance, as per the earlier vid, is another small victory for our enemies. Yes, is exactly that. Kitchen skillet, twerking is suited to be certain kind of physique. Yeah, I think you need to be like a specific body type to do that kind of like twerking, or at least something like that. But anyway, let me see here. Oh, there's James Haywood. How are you doing? Like cars, planes, computers, architecture, language. Can't wait to learn the twerk. Let me see. Yes, Chief Mooney, bastardize is the word. Exactly that. No, exactly that. Let me see. They take our things and make them worse. Then liberal academics applaud them for it to get virtue points. Yes, the whole stunning and brave comments. Like, oh, it's so brave. They've done it. Like, yeah. Let me see. Shocking how our culture is being eroded. It's slowly but surely dying, and they know for a fact that it's dying. I mean, of course, I spoke about this on Thursday's episode of the guy in Ireland, the black gentleman who's like, we're becoming the new Irish, and we're replacing the white natives. It's like, why the fuck would you say something like that? It's almost like as if they know for a fact that this is what's happening, and they're like gleefully applauding the idea that they're replacing us. They know for a fact that they're replacing us, and they're loving that. Let me see. Iron Will, how you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show. Twerking ballerinas here when it comes to that. Julia Skinner, hello. How you doing? Thank you for watching the show. And they say white men or women can't dance. Well, there you go. So let me see. I won't use N-word on here. Please don't, Excel Viking. Well, speaking of which, this is what we're going to be seeing now when it comes to the Tyson Fury fight. Now, the fight itself happened, I believe, this morning. I think it aired over here in the UK, or at least on pay-per-view, around about 4 a.m. in the morning. Now, it was something that was talked about at my work, of course, yesterday as well, because I know some of the guys who are going to be watching it. But I wasn't planning on watching the Tyson Fury match because, let's be honest, I'm not going to be staying up all night or even taking a short nap and then watch the match at 11 a.m. Or no, not 11 a.m., sorry, 4 a.m. in the morning just so I can watch the main fight, if you will. So I know I may have started maybe later on because there may have been pre-matches before then, but it's like, no. I'd rather have my sleep than watch the match itself. Maybe I can watch it afterwards, but anyway. But from what I've heard, that of course people in the chat also mentioned it already, Tyson Fury again won the match, which is really good to see. Of course, a very deserving victory of that also. Tyson Fury, baby, the white man wins again. Well, there you go, exactly that, Kerr. And of course, the response to that victory by Tyson Fury has not been too pleasing with Black Twitter. I'll show you guys in a moment because, of course, Black Twitter made their comments about the match, and it's very obvious for the stuff they're going to be saying with these tweets here and there. But I'll just show you guys in just a short moment here with these right here just now. So that's my notebook with my information. So there we go. Information in terms of the topics I'm going to talk about. But anyway, so what I have here is I collected some tweets. Well, not me necessarily, but these are tweets that were collected by another person on Twitter as like a collection of all these tweets from Black Twitter talking about the Tyson Fury match. Now, some of them I had to blank out some words because obviously they used the N words, which of course I don't want to end up saying the word or getting the word said or anything like that at all for obvious reasons. So there you go. So as you can see on the screen just now, I don't know if it's maybe big enough, but hopefully it might come up on the screen just now. I'll even read some of the tweets if you want, and then we can move on from there. So we got some tweets here saying that Tyson Fury is racist because he won the match. So apparently it's now come to the point where if it's a boxing match or a UFC fight or any type of combative sport, or not even just combative, but if it's some type of sport and if it's a white man against a black man and the white man wins, then apparently that's racist now, apparently, which is very telling now regarding to these people. I mean, you can also say that, Yishi, if you want Tyson Fury to win, you're a racist. Yeah, so if you want Tyson Fury to win, you're a racist apparently now. So the way Tyson Fury just beat the shit out of Deontay Wilder has to be racist because there ain't no fucking way. These people are just so butthurt because their own guy didn't win the fight. Even, of course, some response to Tyson Fury because he writes in his Twitter, "Don't ever doubt me. When the chips are down, I always deliver," which, there you go. And then this douchebag comes along and says Tyson Fury's ancestors definitely were slave owners. It's just like, fuck off, mate. Like, this person is saying that to Tyson Fury, but obvious to the fact, or I think it's maybe like for both tweets, but it's obviously they're saying that because of the fact that Tyson Fury is a white guy. But whenever Tyson Fury punches, he swings like he's trying to discipline a slave. Like, what? Tyson Fury, it looks like he called me a N-word in the pub. I say, well, how would you know that exactly? We already knew that Tyson Fury said, "I'm gonna knock this N-word out tonight before the fight." I pray Tyson Fury gets racist allegations. Like, I just the audacity from this tree, from Mitri, whatever his name is. I pray Tyson Fury gets racist allegations, and of course the black praying emoji. That again really says something, doesn't it? Like they're so butthurt at Tyson Fury that they'll just call him a racist and all of that because he's a white guy and he won the fight fair and square. Which is why I want to show off another image by someone from Twitter. I think it was from Lord Zeppi or Zeppi, if I remember the person's name. But there we go. Tyson Fury, there's a perfect image regarding to the overall fight. So, dear, that's great. It's really great, that. So, anyway. But, yeah, I mean... cough, hose mad, cough. Fury is the fucking Irish traveler. Jesus, these tweets. Yeah, so don't care. No, sorry with that. Not a great week or so for black fight fans. I know, right? Well, especially for being Black History Month. But there you go. Don't care about boxing, but so glad he won. I used to be like a major boxing fan, but I'm not really a boxing fan anymore. But it's nice to see that Tyson Fury won the fight. So, it's great to see our people winning the fight. Let me see. Oh, I've read that one already from Dragon Energy, which hello, Dragon Energy. How you doing? Thank you for watching the stream. Words for 4 letters. Let me see here. Yeah, trigger. That's the correct word to describe these people, especially the Metri guy, whatever his name was. Like, I hope he gets allegations thrown against him for being a racist. It's like, shut up. Deontay Wilder fans are not the sharpest tools in the box. We always make them look foolish in any discussion. Well, there you go. Let me see. Black fragility. Yep, I can agree to that. Apparently, Wilder carried a huge, heavy L to ring. That's why he lost. That would explain that. That would definitely explain that. I watched it twice. Well, there you go. So, yeah, exactly, Dragon Energy. Winning equals racist, which, of course, that seemed to be the common theme with that at this point in time. Remember, roids are only foot soldiers of Israel when it comes to that. Use potato streams if you wanted to watch paid sports. Thank me later. I've heard some streams you can definitely do that. Maybe in the future I could definitely do that, but we'll see. Wilder was a very bad loser. The worst is when you try to stay up but fall asleep just before it starts. Yeah, that's definitely the worst for it. Let me see. Was about 4:40 by the time Wilder left his dressing room. That was quite a long, like 40 minutes. Let me see. They will never learn. Wilder is now Black History. Well, I'm actually surprised that no one has. Well, I'm pretty sure some of these people in those tweets will probably try to make some kind of way of, let's try and lionize Wilder, trying to make him as like a martyr for the black community, kind of like something that happened with the FIFA World Cup earlier this year. Of course, when England went on against Italy, and of course Italy won, and how the general UK public were trying to lionize the black footballers because they missed the penalties, and it's like, why are you trying to like lionize these people when it's very clear that if they were white, no one would really give a shit? It's like, oh, okay, so. But of course, it's that whole thing where they're trying to make it out as if like diversity is our greatest strength. But obviously, with that FIFA match or the World Cup match, obviously diversity is not our greatest strength, isn't it? But there you go. Let me see. Blacks don't care if you're an Irish traveler or the Queen. They just see white people and therefore the enemy. Time we learned that and unified accordingly. Well, of course, exactly that. I mean, when it comes to these black people, it's not just see it as the enemy, but if you're a white person, they just see you as like a Nazi. They don't care if you're on their side or not. They just want your people to be erased. So those butthurt black fans had a glitch in their Matrix brains. Fury's win was not supposed to happen. 4 police cars have turned up at my building, but they aren't here for me. Well, there you go. So it must be for something else. That Ukraine guy is something else. I wonder if that's to do with the other boxing match that happened not too long ago. Let me see. Oh, and also, let me see here. Black people should just win everything automatically. Bigot. Well, of course, Of course, they should care. It's the current year. It's 2021 after all. So, and also, evening to you too, Amanda Lee. Thank you very much for watching the show. Really appreciate that. I actually cannot believe it's like 6 o'clock already. That's crazy. But anyway, we'll see from there. So, let me see. Everyone looks down on joggers. Oh, there you go. So many wins for white sportsmen this year. Yes, it's been a great year for white sportsmen. Definitely. Anyway, another piece of information. Well, I don't know if you want to call it information, but this was something I'm going to get into just a minute now. And I'm pretty sure you all may have seen this already, because this was a news story that happened about a week ago from doing some research into it. Now, that's been something that I've looked into bits and pieces here and there, and this is something that just for tonight I thought I would cover as one of the topics I should have covered a couple of episodes ago, or even like a week ago. Yes, boxing match was a good result. I also enjoyed the Scotland-Israel football's game yesterday. I was actually surprised at that win with yesterday's game of Scotland and Israel. It was quite good to see that Scotland defeated Israel regarding to that football match. It was really good to see. So they hate the myth of black physical prowess being defeated. Of course, they do hate that. Of course, they hate that. Lewis Hamilton lost the lead in the F1 championship again today too. Ah, dear, that's funny to hear that. Happy to see our people winning. Indeed, Kingdom of Finland, happy to see you here. Sirimer, how you doing? Even if he lost, he would still be branded a racist. Haha, the racist got knocked the F out. Of course, they would definitely say that, because again, they hate white people so much that they want us to be erased from existence. Months ago, when those black team members for England got a barrage of abuse, which turned out to have originated from India, Pakistan, Egypt, and even Israel, it wasn't all whites. Well, there you go. That says a lot, doesn't it? But of course, here in the UK, they blame it on white people, and of course you get all these white people who are white and filled to the brim of white guilt have to go on and say, like, oh, we must check our privilege and we must have reparations for the black community. And it's like, shut up! You're just a complete race traitor. That's what you are, an absolute race traiting douchebag. Israel clearly needs more diversity to improve their football team. Well, from what I watched for the game yesterday, Kerr, I'm pretty sure there was some There was maybe a black member here and there with Israel, but there you go. So that's something that they should be checking to see for them to fix with that when it comes to Israel. But I'm pretty sure someone would make the argument, or someone would make the argument that, oh no, well, Israel doesn't need diversity in their team. You know, they need to be an all Israeli team, an all Jewish team. It's like, okay, all roads lead to Israel, of course. White equals racist, black thinking 101, exactly that. Let me see. There was another comment I was going to read out as well before I'll get into the next topic. Racial sports, why the fuck not? Emma Raducanu lost to the player ranked 100 in the world. Oh dear. Let me see here. I don't laugh at racism. Bet that was a comedy gold when it was discovered where it came out of. Exactly. Exactly that. So let me get into the next topic here. Again, there's something I should have talked about a week ago, but it was something that wasn't really covered as much on the mainstream media, which is quite telling regarding to this news story. And it's this article here, and I'll share the screen just a moment. There we go. And it's this article right here by the National File. Black school shooting suspect released on $75,000 bond. Family says he was bullied and robbed by jealous students, quote unquote. This is the story of Timothy Simpkins, allegedly shot 4 following a fight at his high school in Texas. Now, I have seen the tweet about his family, get together party after his release and all that, which I'll get into that in just a short second. But this one, I had a brief look into this, so we'll have a look at this article together, and I'm pretty sure you all have seen this already. I'm sure it may have been covered a week ago, but let's have a look at this right here. So, Timothy Simpkins, a black teenager suspected of shooting 4 people during an altercation at his high school in Texas, has been released on bail after paying a $75,000 bond, which I'm actually curious, how the hell would he manage to get that amount of money, which really makes you think, doesn't it? With his family claiming jealous students bullied and robbed him. Simpkins, who is 18, was released from Tarrant County Jail in Texas on Thursday after being arrested on Wednesday on 3 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon resulting from a fight at Timberview High School. Simpkins allegedly opened fire within the school itself, injuring 4, including 2 15-year-old students and a pregnant woman. One student, a 15-year-old boy, was critically injured and requires surgery, with 25-year-old English teacher Calvin Petit, I hope I'm pronouncing that name right, remaining hospitalized with a collapsed lung. That's really horrible, that. The other 2 victims suffered minor injuries. A witness told police that the shooting happened after an initial fight between Simpkins and another student, with the fight being broken up by multiple teachers and coaches. Despite the second student having stopped being combative, Simpkins reached into his backpack and pulled out a firearm, firing at the boy he fought with, wounding him and others in the process. Dale Topham, a teacher at the school, said that students in other classrooms, after hearing the shots, huddled under the desk together to protect themselves. Well, obviously, because they thought it was a school shooting that was going to happen at that point. The teenager was defended by his family on social media. Of course, they would defend him with this. Your son brought a gun into school. I don't give a damn what was the circumstances that happened. The fact of the matter is that boy brought a gun into school and could have killed someone with that gun. It's just unbelievable, that. But let's just cover more of this. On social media and in the press conference following the shooting, Simpkins, who had recently moved from a private school and owns a $35,000 Dodge Charger, which can be seen pictured on his Instagram with a firearm in the car door, was allegedly being bullied because students were jealous of him wearing nice clothes and was able to get things that other teenagers could not have. Read more. New FBI crime report found murder spike 30% 2020. Well, there you go. Carol Harrison Lafayette, a relative of Simpkins, said that he was robbed twice and that he was scared and afraid for his life. It could have been a decision that he could have committed suicide. He was trying to protect himself. They were blessed financially, Lafayette said, but that there is no justification of anybody being hurt. Carly Wheat, his cousin, said that he wasn't a bad kid and claimed that the robbery made him think he had no other options in his mind other than to commit the school shooting. Well, here's another bright idea that the kid could have done. He could have easily just walked away from it. He could have just maybe either finished the fight or he could have just walked away from it, and that would have been the end of it. He didn't need to bring a gun into school, let alone like take it out of his backpack and shoot and try to threaten to kill a student with it. Well, there was clear intention of what he was going to do to that student when he pulled the gun out. The best possible solution or outcome of that, he should have just walked away from it. That's all he could have done. But no, of course not. He's the victim. Oh no, he's the poor innocent victim that people should feel sorry for. Fuck off. Even try to use the whole like suicide card. Like just don't fucking dare use that. Don't even try to use that excuse. Let me see here. Where was I? Oh, here we go. Simpkins was quizzed by local media when he was released from jail on a mere $75,000 bond. Reporters asked him if he wanted to apologize to his teachers and the students that were injured, and whether he was being bullied at school, to which he shook his head and without saying anything. Well, there you go. That says right there that he pulled the gun out. There was clear intention what he was going to do to that student. He ended up injuring other people there, some students and teachers, and he doesn't have a fucking shred of remorse for what he did to that. Absolutely unbelievable. Unbelievable. But no, of course, he's the victim. He's the poor, innocent little shrew that everyone should feel fucking sorry for. Jesus Christ. My apologies for swearing a lot, folks. I do apologize. But again, something like this is just completely frustrating here. Let me see. Whether he was being... Oh, of course, that. One Twitter user remarked that it was strange that a school shooting suspect was released on bond the next day after it had occurred. Well, it's funny that, isn't it? There have been multiple school shootings that happen in America in the past, which of course are horrible. They should never happen to begin with. You notice how most of those suspects who've been caught with those school shootings, what happened to Timothy Simpkins never happens to any of those school shooters, which is really strange when you think about it, huh? It's really bizarre that, and you kind of wonder how exactly do they get the money to pay that $75,000 bond. Again, it really makes you think, doesn't it? It really makes you think that. In fact, here's even a video. I don't know if this is meant to be... Oh, this is the tweet user in question. Let's have a look at the video here.
Say you're sorry to your teacher. Or the teacher. Anything maybe you want to say anything? You want to say anything to your family?
And if you're just joining us here, the 18-year-old Timothy George Simpkins, who was charged with 3 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, just came out of jail here, and we are...
So it's really bizarre that, like, how the hell did they manage to get bond? But is there actually more with the... I think that's the end of the article, which is really surprising. I don't know if I can actually read the text. Hold on. Let me have I'll read through some of the comments real quick, and then I'll get into the next tweet I also noticed. Oh, that's really bright. Right, let's see here. Here we go. From Jeff Hamilton, it reads, if he had been white and transferred from a private school with a $35,000 car, he would never hear the end of the navel gazing over white privilege or white rage and how domestic terrorism, specifically from white nationalists, is the #1 threat to our nation. Instead, this man, he is 18 years old, puts a bullet in 4 different people at high school and is released on bond. He could cover with his car. The next day, things are getting dangerous. Exactly. That's a very good point. If the racists were reversed, we would never hear the end of it. But for some reason, this is not really heavily covered on the mainstream press, which I guess maybe the fact of the matter is because the shooter was black, which again is very telling that. Let me see. Oh, the poor child, so put upon. He just had to shoot his white teacher in the back. I mean, come on. Don't judge till you walk a mile in his $200 Jordan Air Jordans, and of course his basketball shoes. Let's see. Another one here. So I can go and shoot the fuck out of everyone, and all I have to do is to get away with it, is to say that I got robbed, and people said mean things to me. Damn, why didn't I think of that before? Anyone with a brain knows the little fucker is playing the race card, and this is total. Is there more to that? Hold on. Oh, total bullshit. Oh, there was when it comes to the GIF. Let me see here. I wonder if this is someone trying to defend the kid. Let's have a look at this. Oh, speaking of which, there's been multiple people trying to fucking defend this little prick. I mean, oh, well, you got it all wrong. I mean, obviously he was bullied, like he was robbed and all of that. You know, you don't know what exactly he went through. And it's like, mate, I don't give a fuck what's happened to him or what he's been through. He still brought a gun into school, and the intention was there to fucking kill someone. And even with the gun being shot, he fucking injured 4 people because of it. At that point, I don't care what he's been through or what he's done. He's a potential fucking criminal after doing that. And I wonder if this is one of the people trying to defend this kid. They write, "Do you know what happened? Were you there? The video I saw showed this kid being beaten up by another kid. If this is a case of bullying, then your comment is absolutely idiotic. Do you hate certain kind of people? Oh, fuck off. Here we go with this race car bullshit. It seems like you do. You have no evidence to support what you claim. Let me tell you something. If my kid is bullied and beaten like this kid, and then my son decides to take matters into his own hands, I will stand by him." Oh, I see. So even if he brought a fucking gun into school, you'll still stand by the kid. Even with that, I would fucking dare this person to do that. I would dare them to do that. You know, bring a gun into school, possibly killing multiple people in the process. Oh, but give him credit. He's been bullied. He's been robbed. So, you know, oh, the poor innocent victim. Fuck off. Again, my apologies for the amount of language for this segment of the show, but it's so frustrating that. Absolutely frustrating that. And of course, some of the responses confirm virtue signal received. Here, man, for you, the wheel of virtue signaling, and here's a yeah, exactly. Let's see. You can follow with them. You worthless piece of dog shit. You're a one fucked up individual if you believe what you just wrote. Exactly. That's a very good point. A family that throws a party for a mass shooter and makes excuses for the POS is a piece of shit. Is a piece of shit family. Well, speaking of the family, let's have a look at this from Dallas Black News. Texas teen celebrated his release from jail with a welcome home party after posting after posting, or it was meant to be paying a $75,000 bond. And see, like, there you go. Yeah, they're all they're happy, they're smiling and celebrating all of that. Of course, you can see they're eating chicken and fries, but you know, that's beside the point. But just, isn't it? It's so telling when it comes to our society. I know this is all in America, but this could possibly happen in Britain too, if it was like a knife attack and all of that. But there was one tweet I remember seeing about this case that actually speaks many volumes, and it's such a perfect summary regarding to this overall case. One person on Twitter wrote, "This is not justice, this is compliance." And what they said about that is completely 100% accurate, because if they were to go through the normal process of trying to arrest this kid, and actually bring him to proper justice, you get all these fucking douchebags from Black Lives Matter coming out. Oh, this is another example of a systematic racism. What happened to this kid and all of that, and it's like, are you actually joking here? Are you actually being serious of what you're saying here? It's completely, absolute disregard for human life for what this kid has done. Look, I can understand, you know, bullying is horrible and wrong. I can understand that robbing someone is horrible and wrong. But in that situation, bringing a gun to a school, there's no justification for it. You should never, ever do that whatsoever. It's absolutely shameful. And also, fuck the family also. Like, the fact that they're actually defending the kid and never realizing, hey, wait, I can understand you were bullied and robbed, but bring a gun into school, that there's always another option. There's always another way to it. This is like the one thing you should never do in a situation like that. But no, they just look at him as the victim, and they're glad he's been walked home free. Well, I'll tell you this, folks. Right? I hope everyone in the chat is listening to me when I'm saying this. Regarding to this kid of Timothy Simpkins, he's released now. Do not be surprised if later on down the line, whether it be a few months from now or weeks from now, maybe a couple of years' time from now, don't be surprised if he get brought back on the news and he does something way worse than what he's done at the school. Please do not be surprised when that does happen. I can guarantee you something like that will happen one day. Guarantee you that. Ah, my God. So again, my apologies again for the profanity throughout the segment of the show, but it's so frustrating here, and it also kind of brings up another. It also brings up another point about privilege. We always keep hearing about this concept of white privilege this and white privilege that. But here's a prime example of who are the ones in society who actually has privilege here. Is it white people or is it black people in this case? I think with the Timothy Simpkins case, we could definitely see who in our society really has the privilege here. Because let me give you like a bit of a hint here. It's certainly not white people who are privileged. It's certainly not the white people. No need to apologize, Moody. You ran for all of us. Well, there you go. Thank you very much, Dragon Energy. So, Julius Skinner, he looks bad. Who the heck would bully him? Well, there you go. So, but like I said, just to add on to what Julius said, well, also to add on to what I said earlier on, don't be surprised when he gets brought back on the news, because I can guarantee you he'll be back on the news at some point. Whatever the case may be, he will be back. I can guarantee you that. Let me see here. From Kerr, if you're being bullied, punch the person in Minecraft. You don't shoot someone. Exactly. There's always another way around that. Like always another option rather than just pointing out a gun. Racism is big business now. Yes, that's exactly that, Ironwell. Yes. These people will use the race card because they know for a fact that it will give them like a financial gain out of it. Just look what happened to George Floyd's family, for fuck's sake. How much was it they got paid because of what happened to George Floyd? Was it like, what, 2.3 million or something like that? It might be something along those lines, but it was a huge sum of money. A huge sum of money. I used to bring pens to school. Well, I think all of us did back in the day, but yeah, but of course in America it would be slightly different. But even then in America, they would never bring a gun to school, but America is fuck. Yeah, I think America is completely screwed at this point, especially with the state of the whole diversity clause and all of that. I know a few people who have had low times in their lives and have attempted upside, but never had at any point or any time have they gone out to hurt others. BS excuse for the likes of them. Exactly. It's just BS excuses. Exactly that. What's he hiding under that hat? Probably that fucking nappy haircut he has, but Strontium Dog, hello, how you doing? Thank you for watching the show. Did BLM bail him out? I don't know. And I wouldn't be surprised if they did or anything like that. Like maybe to do like some kind of fundraiser, but even then, I think Timothy's mother said that they were very lucky with money, but then again, it's like, well, what did they do with financially? What did they work as or anything like that at all? But from rigor mortis, the fact that he brought a gun to school itself shows a level of premeditated intent to shoot his classmates. Well, there you go. Exactly. That's exactly my point. All done to provoke white outrage. Yep. Exactly. He shot 4 people. He just shot 4 people. Jesus Christ! Yeah, I know, right? It's frustrating covering stories like that. Hello, Hightower. How you doing, sir? Thank you for watching the show. Do they not lock guns away? Mine are locked in a steel cabinet. Yeah, I think in some. I think it depends on who you speak to. Some people I know they do lock them away, obviously to keep them away from kids and whatnot, or grandkids if they have any. But when it comes to other people, they just really either just place it in a location that can be easily found, or they just carry it around with them. But I think in America that also depends on certain states when it comes to carry laws or anything like that at all. So not like a gun expert myself because I'm not from America, but anyway, Simpkins sounds like afternoon television. Yeah, of course. Yeah, exactly, rigor mortis. Rules for thee, but not for me. Exactly. Choose for people and still portrayed as the victim. Which group has the privilege? Well, exactly that English rules. That's exactly the point I was trying to make here. Which group of people in our society has privilege here? Certainly not white people. Certainly not white people. Another great point here from Kitchen Skillet: low impulse control. Exactly that. Instead of just actually walking away from a situation, it's like, no, I'm going to finish the situation by also bringing a gun to school. Which, who paid the bond? That's what I'm actually curious about. Who actually paid the bond? Because I would imagine it must be the family, because as I said, they're lucky with money. But even then, I don't think they would have that amount of money, to be honest with you. But I want to say maybe it was open as a fundraiser by maybe pro BLM types, but who knows? Who knows with that? If it's because of jealousy, then why would he shoot the teacher? Laugh my ass off. I doubt that she was jealous of him. Well, it's actually a great point, Canny. A very great point there. And a white man defending himself and his girlfriend against a violent jogger is charged with murder. It's becoming a criminal offense to defend yourself against blacks while being white. I think was it Mark that showcased that video. I don't know if I can actually showcase the video on the stream, because obviously for content reasons. But I think I remember watching a bit of that. And of course, I didn't know exactly what happened afterwards. But that's the case of what happened to the guy, simply because he was defending himself and his girlfriend by the jogger. Again, who has the privilege here in our society? It's certainly not white people. Back on the news, new single by The Jam. Let me see. Soros paid? Well, you never know. You never know. Maybe it's the Soros Foundation or maybe someone like that. But it was a family that bailed him. They are wealthy, I believe. Okay. So it definitely is a family. Right. All right. But even then, like, they're still looked at as the victim. That's just ridiculous. That he's like a dog that has bitten. That has bitten now. He's tasted blood. You can never trust him now. It will happen again and probably worse. Exactly that. And the black guy that just got $137 million from Tesla because the racial harassment he received in the workplace. Jesus Christ. It's exactly becoming a money-making business. Yeah, Streaky Bacon, thank you. $27 million for the George Floyd family. That was the amount. $27 million. God almighty. $1,000 says is gang shit and the billion is a cover. It's probably that. I mean, would anyone be that surprised really with that? But Garen fucking TU, is that Scottish? No, I think I remember some Americans saying that, but anyway, so I guess that could be a new word for some people to say, but there you go. Why didn't he just report the bullying to a teacher? No, that would just nip it in the bud, which doesn't suit his agenda. Well, there you go. There you go with that. Then let's go after the driver, not the Olirag, right? This is why Christianity was needed. There is systematic racism, systematic anti-white racism. Well, there you go. Let me see. Yep, it's all up to date with the chat as well. That's fine and dandy with that. Perfect. BLM have nearly $1 billion. Well, of course, there's like a money-making business with that at this point. Evening, Ragnar Iron Spear, how you doing? Thank you for watching the show. We saw that case on Modern Politics, right? There we go. We see Garen fucking tea at least once a day. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Thank you, Dotskin. Anyway, perfect. So that's that topic covered. So it's absolutely shameful that this had to happen. I hope the victims of this case, they end up recovering from this. But again, when it comes to this Timothy Simpkins character, don't be surprised when he get brought up on the news again, because I can we can all guarantee he'll be back at some point. Can guarantee you that. While I'm at it, there was another thing I also wanted to cover. Of course, speaking of George Floyd, let me have a look and see if I can find this here. George Floyd. Now, this is something that's been covered on the news, and I did see this not too long ago. Let me have a look and see. Everyone knows there was like a new statue that's been brought up for George Floyd, which is let me see if I can find an article about that. Well, maybe even something like that. Let me see. Of course, there's recent news stories about that, but I wanted to do it like a chronological order regarding to this story. Let me see. Texas State Board of Pardons and Paroles voted unanimously Monday to recommend a full pardon for the two. Jesus Christ! Oh my God! Let me have a look at this again. So pardon of George Floyd for 2004 drug conviction. So even after he dies and after all that's done, they're going to pardon his crimes now at this point. Are you fucking kidding me? Jesus Christ. Unbelievable that. Unbelievable. Right, let me see if I can find the statue of George Floyd. There have been stories about the defacing of the statue, which is really funny to see. But like I said, I want to do it all in like a chronological order, just so we can cover the first story that broke out about the statue, and then we can cover the defaced stories about that. So let me have a look and see if I can find the original article about that. So. And of course, the statue itself is the big head statue that's in New York. I mean, of course, it would be in New York City. I know there was another George Floyd statue that's sitting on a bench in New Jersey, if I'm not mistaken. It's absolutely ridiculous that a recent unveiled sculpture has. Oh, of course. Let me see if I can type in the. Type in, I should say, on the statue. Right, let's see. Right, okay. Okay. You know what? Maybe I could just share the screen just now. The Floyd statue has had a lovely new paint job, but let me just get into this anyway because I'll cross that out. I don't need that article anymore. So I'll just go on to Twitter and see from here. So basically, there was a new George Floyd statue that was unveiled at Union Square in New York City. Of course, there'd be like a statue in remembrance of George Floyd. Oh, George Floyd was the saint that everyone should look up to. But turns out, I think that even a couple of times there have been people have completely defaced the statue or even vandalized it, which is really funny to see. So. In fact, even here's the original video about that, of the defacing. I think is one of the original videos, but let's have a look here and see. And of course, they're trying to release videos of the guy. Like, oh, if you find this guy, we need to apprehend the guy. Wait, why? Because he vandalized a statue, but it's like it's just like he did that in front of other people. Which, I mean, to be fair on the guy, that's pretty based. I have to say, that's really based on the guy. That was a proper Chad move, I must say. So because of that, there's been an outcry with this, like, oh, we need to find this guy, a skateboarder who defaced George Floyd statue in Union Square, caught on video. And of course, they're trying to find the guy, trying to arrest him. And then, of course, there's been people, volunteers and whatnot. As you can see, of this tweet, volunteers. This is from Ben Crump. Volunteers cleaned paint off George Floyd's statue after it was vandalized in Union Square, New York City. They dedicated their time and care to honor our larger-than-life man. Get fucked. Honestly, this is just ridiculous. And of course, the people who are taking the time to fix a statue. Okay, you got one jogger there. Okay, that's one. But most of the people who are giving their time and effort to try and clean the statue up, most of them are just completely white. I mean, yeah, as I said, you've got the one jogger there, but there's one white woman there. There's another white woman that's showing up in just a moment here. There you go. So the complete cuckoldry of this is just ridiculous. And what's this that I see here? Hashtag See Justice. Like, are you actually kidding me here? It's barely been up in 2 days, and yet that's funny that the statue of George Floyd in Union Square, it wasn't even up for 2 days, and yet it's been defaced or vandalized. That's fucking awesome. New statue of George Floyd in Union Square has already been vandalized. Vandalized the statue. Of course, that's all up to date. And apparently, I believe what I've just seen there on Twitter, it's been vandalized for the second time, which, I mean, that's just really funny that. But I think that just goes to show that many people are actually waking up to the whole thing with this whole George Floyd thing with that. Hold on 1 minute. Kate Hopkins visits defaced George Floyd statue. I just wonder about the wisdom of erecting a statue to a man who was a drug user, a woman abuser, and I wonder what he really achieved in his life for everybody here to be worshipping him. Exactly. Not a fan of Kate Hopkins myself, but it's a very great point. Let's have a look here.
Floyd.
I'll play the video back.
So this is Union Square, where there is an art installation.
I also just noticed by the way, when it comes to the head statue, is that supposed to be a head statue of Martin Luther King, if I'm not mistaken, or some other like black historical figure? If that's supposed to be the case, then isn't that just telling that they're comparing George Floyd to one of these black historical figures, like a Martin Luther King or something like that? I mean, say what you want about Martin Luther King. I mean, I know he was known to be like a communist degenerate from what I remember, but he has that whole famous speech of, you know, I have a dream, you know, the famous I have a dream speech, you know. But it's just, it's such a telling that they're trying to compare George Floyd to one of these historical figures. Just absolutely no shame whatsoever.
There's Breonna over there, John Lewis in the centre.
Oh, John Lewis,
and
right.
And then George Floyd. I mean, I do wonder about these golden memorials to career criminals, but still, someone has taken it upon themselves to deface the George Floyd bust. And so these ladies have now arrived to start the clean-up process. It does make you wonder who decided to face it. I also wonder, you know, we were always told when we all talked at church or whatever, you know, worship false idols. I just wonder about the wisdom of erecting a statue to a man who was a drug user, a women abuser.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder what he really achieved in his life for everybody to be here worshipping him. But still, the clean-up operation is underway.
Another thing to point out when it comes to George Floyd, let's not also forget he held a gun to a pregnant woman's stomach, you know, and all that. He was delved into pornography and all of that. So let me ask you this: what exactly did he achieve in his life and all of that? What exactly did he achieve in life? Nothing exactly. Sorry, excuse me. Should really blow my nose. Sorry about that, folks. Which Berg or Steen authorizes? I wonder that, Corona. I wonder that. It does look Klaus Schwab, guys. Heroes to Marxist Leninists. Well, there you go. If they lionize a man who likes to terrorize pregnant women by aiming a loaded gun to their bellies, then please, you go for it. Well, there you go. So, let me see. There was another comment in the chat by Kingdom of Finland. Chiefly, have the cuck church made Floyd a saint yet? I wouldn't be surprised, Finland, if they already have done that. I wouldn't be surprised if the church have completely made George Floyd a saint officially in this case. George Floyd, utopian socialist mass marketed symbol of manufactured revolution. Well, there you go. Absolutely truth to that. Saint George is the greatest, most wonderful African ever in history. By Garlic Gorilla. How you doing? Isn't that Christopher Columbus in the background? I never really noticed that actually, but the guy on the horse might have been, but you never know. So it's Jay-Z with a mounted crusader on his head. MLK was a puppet. Yes, I remember being told he was. That's Klaus Schwab. Let's see. Stanley Levison wrote all his speeches for him. Well, there you go. Let's see. John Lewis, yeah, of course, and even Kate Hopkins pointed that out with the statue in the middle. Only in America they celebrate a criminal. Well, there you go. Only in America. I think that's also the name of a film with Eddie Murphy, if I'm not mistaken. Only in America. The technique to throw that paint on that skater was used was near perfect. It was near perfect. Actually, you know what would be really funny and based? If someone went up to the statue and just put on the initials WLM, White Lives Matter. That would be really funny, that, and really based also on the George Floyd statue. I'm surprised no one has actually done that as of late, but why Sharia badly needed. Of course, not that I advocate for vandalism or of any kind or anything like that. I just think it'd be really funny that someone were to do that on one of the statues. But then again, there you go. So stroking his saintly face. It just goes to show you how much of a surveillance state the West has become. Funny how there's never any readily available clean as day CCTV footage when a jogger kicks off. And funny that, really funny that. Better flee to Mexico ASAP. They'll get put in the rapiest prison in America. Oh, there you go. The English sailor. Oh dear. White girls, Jesus Christ. Yeah, worship the new god. Should get should get at least 30 years for that. Yeah. Let me see. Top lad. You can't keep getting away with it. Heartwarming to see that act of defiance. It is quite heartwarming to see that act of defiance. Definitely, he's a hero. I definitely agree. English Rose. Definitely agree with you on that. George kisses us for girls. Sure. Base skateboarder. Yeah, with that. Let me see here. It's like Tony Hawk's base skaters or something like that. If they remove his crimes from the record that they never happened, just ask the victims. That will leave it wide open for him to be canonized alongside Mother Teresa. Well, there you go. I wonder what the pregnant woman would think about that in this case. So, I love that Thor deface Floyd on the regular, all the lightning strikes. Let's see. I bow at the mention of his name. Yeah, exactly. A pardon, WTF. Yeah, exactly that. George Floyd's statue vandalized less than 24 hours after it was unveiled. Well, there you go, as I mentioned earlier on. Shamima Begum should be queen of heads. Don't even get me started on Shamima Begum. I think there's been fairly recent news about her, trying to act like, I've walked away from that religion. I'm back to normalcy with that. Which, if that really is true, then I wouldn't be surprised she would be executed because let me ask you, folks, when it comes to apostasy, when it comes to the religion of Islam, what exactly would happen to someone if they were to leave Islam? They'd be executed for it, right? Because they decided to leave the religion. So her leaving the religion, don't be surprised if something like that were to happen to her at one point. Not that I would never, not that, of course, not to say that I don't want anything like that to happen or any harm done to anything like that to her anyway. But again, don't be surprised with that. So, hold on one sec here. 1 second. There we go. Sorry about that, folks. Just checking something here real quick. American culture is literally dead. Oh, no, sorry. That just reading another comment top of that from Silvermart. American culture is literally jogger worship at this point. Yeah, I can definitely see that. It really is jogger worship. It's disgusting that is the case, but that really is what's going on at the moment. Well, you could even say it's worse than here in the UK because we're just so completely cut that it makes America seem not as cucked or as woke as what we are here in the UK is absolutely shameful. We're so cucked the fact that our own Conservative Party are not really a Conservative Party. They're basically Conservatives in name only, and it's absolutely shameful that. Exile Viking. Mother Teresa made a genuine difference in her life. She dedicated her life to helping the poor, unlike Fentanyl Floyd, who is a piece of poo-poo. There you go. The statue of Floyd just as cringy as the statue of Michael Jackson in Fulham and Mandela in South Bank. Well, there you go. There you go. Mother Teresa was a piece of shit. Also, I have heard about stuff about Mother Teresa. Didn't she abuse children or anything like that at all, from what I remember hearing about her? But I don't know, I might be wrong on that. But anyway, Conservatives are even more beamed up than Labour. Well, of course, you've got Priti Patel. You have Sadiq Khan. Well, I don't know. Sadiq Khan is not a member of the Conservatives. Sorry, he's a mayor of London. Who's the other Indian chap in the Conservative Party? I can't remember the guy's name. There was Priti Patel. I think there's a couple of. There's one Pakistani member in the Conservative Party. There's an Indian chap in the Conservative Party whose name escapes me at the moment. Rishi Sunak, that's the name. Thank you, Corona. Thank you for reminding me of that. That's the guy's name. Sajid Javed, I hope I pronounced that right. Didn't he replace someone? Because there was another Conservative member who got caught cheating on his missus with a woman in the House of Parliament or something like that. And then of course this gentleman Sajid Javid replaced that guy from what I can remember with that. So anyway, thousands of sick children died as Mother Teresa denied them medical help. Well, there you go. So yeah, she's a complete scumbag for doing that. Mother Teresa was vile from what I've heard. There's another Mandela statue in Mandela in Westminster. Funny pic of any members posing with it, putting a banana in his. Oh dear. Oh dear. Let me see. The cabinet is full of Pakistanis that I agreed no white. Yeah, I heard Mother Teresa was bad in some way. I can't remember what she said, what she did. Well, I think it was already mentioned in the chat that she denied medicine to a bunch of very sick children at that point. Kingdom of England, Chief Moody, when do we boog/crusade? Not until we're too sure. I mean, I don't know if it will happen, but if it does happen, I think it's just up for the people. But I don't know. We'll see. I genuinely worry about that we're dead already. I was one of the idiots years ago thinking that eventually my country would purify itself with civil war, but last year we did nothing. What the fuck do we do, man? I don't know, Duskin. That's a very good question. I know people in America have talked about, oh, this is going to stir up a second American Civil War and all this and that, but to be honest, I really don't know. I don't know. I think it just depends on the people. I think they need to wake up on this case, and I think there are nationalist groups in America that have woken up to this mess, and I think groups like the National Justice Party. I think yes, and also Toby is right. Definitely collectivize with our people. And I think if you're an American, I think you should look up groups like the National Justice Party, the one that's handled by, well, one of the people who are handling the party is Mike Enoch. I think that should be looked into for a lot of people who are in America and want to see any solutions to the problems we're facing. Because I think people have said that the National Justice Party is basically the American equivalent to Patriotic Alternative, which I tend to agree with that fact in this case. So I do pray for. Stephen Kerr said National Justice Party and Patriotic Front are a good bunch. There you go. I've never heard of Patriotic Front, but that gives something I can have a look into. But I definitely do know what the National Justice Party are, especially when it comes to Mike Enoch. So, Doskin, if you're listening to this, definitely would look into that as well, just to make sure with that in terms of any collectivized groups you want to be a part of with that. So, even left wing wants secession in the US. Well, that's how bad it's getting at this point. Yeah. Very true, English Rose. Build strong communities. We must come together, especially what Toby said earlier on, collectivize. Absolutely true in that fact. Absolutely true. Yeah, join the NGP. Of course, if you're an American with that, I'll send you their page and you can look at them after this. Well, thank you for that, Kier. If you can send me that on Telegram, like, private message, that would be much appreciated, sir. Thank you for doing that. I'll definitely have a look into that if you can send that forward to me with that. Thoughts on America's Patriot Front? Well, as I just said, Rick and Mortis, I don't know too well about that. That's only just came to my knowledge with that in this case. So, like Kurt is going to be doing, he'll send me the page to that group, and I'll see if I can have a look into that and see from there with that. So, Dragon Energy, PA and NGP are in regular contact. Good folks. They're definitely good folks. Definitely need to keep on, of course, talking to them, of course, with that, especially for our brothers overseas in America. So, OSD Khan's favorite video game. Oh, for God's sake. Exile Viking. That's a good joke. Must be some uninhabited Scottish islands we could colonize. Well, you think, but I don't know. Maybe, but we'll never know. We'll definitely see with that. Chief Moody, if this is from Noel, and of course from all, do you have a different view of war historical films you watched as a kid, seeing these now as brothers and sisters killing, harming each other now as a nationalist? I never had shared those viewpoints before I watched those films. There was another film I watched back in the day, but I need to rewatch it at some point now with nationalist viewpoint, and that film is Saving Private Ryan. Now, I know it's directed by Steven Spielberg, and it stars Tom Hanks, of course, known to be a complete nonce. But I think now, as a nationalist at this point, it would be interesting to watch that film now, considering that World War II is basically all European brother war, and of course, our old saying, no more brother wars. So I think it'd be interesting to see that film now in this perspective. Another film I can maybe give another watch, because I watched this film back in high school doing like some part of history course for World War II, and I'm pretty sure everyone has seen this film. It's called Downfall. It's a German-made film about the last 10 days of Hitler's life. I think that'd be another film I can maybe find and see if I can give that a watch and see from there, again with this now nationalist perspective. But again, we'll definitely see with that. So. We'll definitely see with that. So I could definitely agree with you that. Sorry, who made the question again? No, sorry. Yeah, I think definitely my viewpoints would change with that after, seeing these films now with being an ethno nationalist at this point. I think my viewpoints would change for that fact. Let me see exactly. No more brothers wars with that. Definitely. Downfall is still awesome. I'll see if I can give that another watch at some point. I have seen the famous clip, and of course, it's been memed to high heaven. It's the room scene where they're all together and they're talking about certain fronts, with the Russian army, I think it was. But I'll definitely give that another watch and see from there. But anyway, folks, that's approaching 5 to 7. What I'll just do now is that I'll just see if I can get the links for the. Hold on 1 second. Oh, that's to do with Patriot Front. Thank you, Kier. I just received that on Telegram just now. Thank you very much for that. I'll give that a watch and then see from there. In the a look, I should say. In the meantime, let me just see if I can find. Let me see from here. I wonder if, I'm sure it'll be, yeah, okay. Yeah, perfect. So I'm just going to put in Mark's Odyssey link for the Film Club stream. Copy link, post that here, and then Chief Mooney, you need to watch Killing Private Kraut here on YouTube. It breaks down the demonization of Germans and Saving Private Ryan. You know what, Sarah Moore, thank you for pointing that out. I'm going to see if I can look into that real quick. In fact, hold on. This may help to remind me. YouTube. What was the name of it? Killing Private Kraut. Right. Okay. Let's see if I can find that here. Sorry, folks. 1 sec. And then I'll see from there with that. Oops, misspelled it. Okay, that's it. Yeah, so I found that here. So I'll see if I can give that a watch and then see if there. But thank you for pointing that out, Sarah. I really appreciate that. I'll have a look at that. Let me see. I get another link. This will be for. It's not sharing the screen. It's not right. That's fine. Cool. Okay, let me have a look and see. Another link. This is for Laura's DLive. So if you want to watch the film review on DLive, you'll definitely watch it. You can definitely watch it with this link here. That's the DLive link for Laura's DLive account. I also put in the Radio Albion link. So if you want to listen to the stream rather than watch it, then of course there is the link for the Radio Albion link for that as well. And finally, I will put in the Entropy link for Mark Collette's Entropy account. So basically, if you, as per usual, if you want to ask the troops over at PA Film Club any questions, any paid or unpaid questions, then please feel free to do so by clicking this link for Mark Collette's Entropy link right here. And that's going to be that. So the only historical movie I ever watched in was Roots in secondary school. Laughed my ass off. Well, there we go. So there we go. Let me see. Does the NJP have a YouTube channel? If not, what platforms are they on? I don't think they have a YouTube channel, but what to do, Vinland, if you can go on the YouTube, type in, say, Mike Enoch, National Justice Party, or NJP, you'll find some videos there, and then I'm sure it may go more into that as well, regarding to both NJP and Mike Enoch. So I don't think they have their own official YouTube channel as of yet, but I'm pretty sure you can find them on Telegram or on Odyssey for that matter. But for YouTube purposes, just type in Mike Enoch and NJP or anything like that, and you should be able to find some conferences videos of that in this case. So anyway, that's going to be me for this evening. I really appreciate your time of watching the show, troops. It's an absolute pleasure doing the show for you guys. I shall be back on Thursday with episode 33. Don't be surprised if I'm, of course, again, tired, just like this past Thursday's episode, because of work purposes and all of that. But I will be back with episode 33 this coming Thursday, and that date will be the let me see, Thursday the 14th of October. So there you go. Anyway, great show, Chief. Thank you. No worries, Toby. Thank you very much for watching. What I'm just going to do, folks, is I'm just going to see if I can find an outro for the stream just now, and then we'll see from there. English Rose, a great stream. Oh, God damn it, a great stream. Thank you. Take care, everyone, and please be safe. Same to you, English Rose. Thank you for watching the show, and you stay safe as well. Thank you very much for watching. Great stream, Chief. From what Tyler was a great chat. Night all, stay strong. 14. Same to yourself. Kurt, great show, mate, as always. Thank you very much, Kurt. I hope to get you and Jay back on the show at some point later on down the line. We'll definitely see with that. In the meantime, guys, I know I'm stalling here, but please head on over to Mark Collette's or the PA Film Club's review after this, and tell them in the chat that I've sent you with that. I would really appreciate that. So, like your streams, Moody. Thank you very much, Gnome White. I appreciate you being here with your support. And that's going to be it for that fact. Again, thank you all very much for watching the show. This is Chief Moody signing out. You have been watching episode 32 of the Mood of the Nation podcast, and I shall see you on Thursday, the 14th of October, with episode 33 of Mood of the Nation. For now, thank you again. Take care, stay safe, and good night. And thank you. Take care. Good night. Also, just real quick, folks, Didn't mean to do that. I also realized, again, because it's Black History Month, I thought this song might be perfect to play us out with. So hopefully you can enjoy this while it's playing. Let me see here. What's going on with the screen? Oh, there we go. But anyway, I'll just play the song, and thank you very much again. Take care. Good night.
Brothers, sisters, Mandela. Brothers, sisters, Mandela. My friend, could we stand together? Look at us, we can stay forever. Show me sister, show me brother. And we stay strong to one another. Come on, come on, come on, come on, yeah! Come on, come on. We could be leaders of the islands. You don't save petrol from a can. You put the petrol in the United States. Don't be rama, it's messing with your brain. Say daily, do you understand? You don't save petrol from a can. You put the petrol in the car it goes. Don't be rama, it's slipping up your nose. Don't be rama, 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 don't be rama. Love your friends, protect your family. They are with you when you are lonely. Don't bandera, don't bandera. When you stop, your brains will be clear. Come on, come on, come on, come on, yeah! Come on, come on. We could be leaders of the islands. You don't save petrol from a can. You put your petrol in the United States. Don't be rama, it's messing with your brain. Say daily, do you understand? You don't save petrol from a can. You put your petrol in the car it goes. Don't be rama, it's slipping up your nose.
You not badly, you rama. Gonna get caught like Dylan Osama.
Yeah, I tell you, cause I can, yeah, I tell you.
When I was smoking in the street, shit about them girls, I'm sniffing too much petrol. Killing your brains.
We could be leaders of the islands. You don't save petrol from a can. You put the petrol in the United States. Don't be rama, it's messing with your brain. Say daily, do you understand? You don't save petrol from a can. You put the petrol in the car it goes. Don't be rama, slipping up your nose. Use your brains, think about your caution.